Hi everyone. Hang on one second immediately. Sorry about that. I had to tell one of the kids to be quiet because I'm obviously on this live stream. A couple of things to say. Usually, obviously, I'm waiting for people to join the live streams, and I usually spend this beginning part kind of like waffling about nothing. So I'm a little bit more structured today. First off, I'm in a different room. Second off, the light bulb it doesn't work. Oh, I can't figure it out. There doesn't work. It blew not long ago, and I haven't got around to doing it. So I've had to put I had to put my ring light in here. So apologies that the lighting is abysmal and it does not bring out my best features. So hopefully we can ignore that. Second of all, I have decided to remove my personal Instagram. Now, obviously, none of you have access to my personal Instagram because it's on private. But with my personal Instagram, I would always, well, not always be on it, but I would be on it a lot to watch memes and stuff like that. But I've decided to remove it to actually put more effort and time into this channel and everything, as well as just to be able to sort of do more like my reading, my exercises, stuff like that without getting distracted. So because of that, I am now translating that time that I would have spent on Instagram onto my business Instagram slash this channel's Instagram. So that means more regular stories. That means more consistent posting. That means all of that. So if you guys have any suggestions of what you'd like to see on the stories, on the posts, whether it's real posts or like sort of posts, let me know. Lately, I've just been throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you, and a lot of people have really enjoyed the exercise ones, like with the push-ups and the pull-ups and the all that kind of stuff. So obviously, I can do more of those kinds of things. I'm making myself look like a ghosty. um, but like, if you do have any other suggestions of things that you would like to see, by all means, just let me know. Be more than happy to put it up there. But follow my Instagram if you aren't already. Mind over this matrix. Simple as. Same thing with TikTok. Wanted to be more consistent with that as well. And I did have one other question as well while I wait for the other people's comments to come in. For the members that are currently here right now, thank you very much for joining. If we could get the questions going, that would be amazing. But one other thing, and this is more of just like a food for thought kind of question slash wondering if you guys had an answer, but I see a lot of other channels posting stuff. Now, there are a lot of the big ones like Sammy and Graham, like Kim Velez, like stuff like that, that I think post kind of consistent spread stuff. It's not all just the same topic regurgitated in different words. But I do also see a lot of other channels that are growing quite quick that are just regurgitating the same thing that they said video after video after video. Now, I'm not going to name any names because, of course, it's not a competition. It's not a comparison thing. But I've just noticed it, and I post 3 videos a week, and I do try to spread the video content out to avoid making it so repetitive. But it seems like other people's channels who are doing that seem to just be absolutely fine. People don't mind hearing the same thing over and over again. So I wanted your honest opinion as viewers. Are you content with sort of somewhat repetitive content? Now, obviously, I don't mean day after day after day, but it does become a little bit tricky to think of new videos every single week that don't copy the same video I did the week before or the week before or the week before. If you'll see my videography, a lot of my content is spread out over the course of months before it starts repeating the same titles or general subject matter. Obviously, there will be similarities because manifestation doesn't change depending on the thing, it's the same stuff. But generally speaking, it does. There are a lot of things that I could use again and again and again, but bring in different video formats. So I would just wanted to know what your guys' opinions were on that, because I see mostly specific person content, because I do see a lot of creators out there just trying to cater to that and doing daily videos saying the same thing about a specific person. But if you guys are content with the idea of like, this video is kind of similar to one that I did maybe last week or the week before, but you like hearing that kind of stuff, let me know, because it would make my coming up with topics so much easier. And that way I wouldn't be so like stressed about finding new things for you guys all the time. So that's basically my questions and everything out of the way. There are a couple of members in here right now that I'm waiting to put comments in. So that, because obviously once the comments are in, I can actually start answering questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I just thought about it because I was doing a little bit of research for sort of video ideas and sort of a bit of inspiration for next week. And I was scrolling, and there was all of these channels that were just literally same thing, you know, like, oh, if you watch this video, you'll get your specific person. And then the next one was like, get your specific person within 24 hours. And the next one was like something like that. And these are the same titles that I've seen these same people do like last week or the week before or the week before. And I'm like, they're literally just copy and pasting the same content essentially, which obviously every other channel can do whatever they want. I don't mind that. And it isn't a derogatory thing that I'm saying. I'm just more speaking in terms of, if you don't mind that, it would make my job a little bit easier, because then I wouldn't have to come up with obscure topics to talk about just for the purposes of spreading the content and making it less repetitive. But of course, I'm here for you guys. So if you'd like the way that I do it at the moment, by all means, let me know. Let me just see if everything is in order. Yeah. Okay. There's a couple of people in here watching. They still haven't put any comments or anything yet. So if you could comment, that would be very helpful, because then I can get the actual live stream going as opposed to just me talking. So that would be greatly appreciated. When you says hello, howdy, howdy, when you, glad to have you here today. I hope everything's all right on your side of things. I think what I might do today is, if there's not many viewers in terms of like comments and stuff like that, I'm Alicia. Yeah, see, I knew you were, but I wasn't sure if you'd want me to say that, because obviously this is public, so I didn't want to know if you'd want me to call you Alicia or not. But howdy, Alicia, thank you for being here. If there's not many like consistent comments, and I kind of break up a lot of time because I'm waiting for people to answer, what I might do is send out the link to a couple of my like Premium Plus members, and sort of say, hey, if you want to join this live stream, even though it's technically for members only, at least the Premium Plus ones would have, like, been a big package payer, so it kind of makes it a little bit more valid. Obviously, I'm not going to go and give it for free, because that completely invalidates the idea of you guys being members. But hey, Mike says, hey, long time no speak. Yeah, it has been a long time. I hope you're doing right, Mike. I hope everything's going well your side. I know obviously you had a lot of big things coming up, so hopefully you can share some positive news regarding that. Apologies if I sound a bit hoarse, by the way. I've been at band all day, so got there about 11 and I left there about 4:30. And oh my God, it wasn't a good session. I'll be honest, my vocals today were absolutely naff trying to record. On like the practice where we just jammed together, great. But for some reason, I just could not map the lyrics that we were trying to do. So I was quite disappointed with that. But we move on, And yeah, but my voice is a bit shot, bit throaty, bit scratchy. So apologies. Tiger Claus says, hey, buddy, it's Tiger Claus. Remember? I do, in fact, remember. Thank you very much for being here today. I hope everything is good on your end. Brooke says, hi, good afternoon/evening, Matt. Howdy, howdy, Brooke. Thank you for being here today. It is the evening for me now. It's currently 8 p.m. And yeah, as soon as I finish on this live stream, I'm going to go cook dinner and unwind, because I was out all day yesterday, out with my friends doing bowling and stuff, and then a band all day today. So I've been very non-stop these past couple of days. So it'll be really nice to close the laptop lid and just chill for the evening, because I'm so looking forward to it. It's funny how, like, even when you're out with friends, it can still be one of those like draining things. It's like a social battery, as people refer to it as sometimes. Brooke says that's a late dinner. Yeah, it is. I mean, usually we would have dinner a little bit earlier, about sort of 7:30, 7 o'clock-ish. But like I said, I was out at band. So literally about an hour before this live stream, I got home from band, did a few last minute emails and scripts and stuff like that. And then obviously jumped onto this live stream. So afterward, then we're going to do it. Speaking of band, though, we're actually looking into doing studio work for the EP, which means in theory, our stuff should be out within the next couple of months, maybe pushing it to the end of the year, depending on how the studio stuff goes. So if any of you are excited about the music stuff, that's something to look forward to, I suppose. Tiger Claw says, so we all have dreams of our manifestations, positives and negatives, but what does it mean if we have dreams that has aspects of both the old and the new story? So I think dreams is one of those things that I'll be straight up with you here. I am not 100% familiar/accurate/knowledgeable on. I'm not a dream expert. I'm pretty sure most dream experts still don't even fully understand dreams themselves. And because of that, the way that I personally operate through dreams is that if it's good, great, use it as evidence of your manifestation on its way. If it's bad, whatever. It's kind of just the same as having a bad thought or a bad circumstance. If you don't let it get to you up here, it doesn't matter. If you do let it get to you up here, then you're showing that you associate with it, which is obviously not a positive thing to be doing. So if you're having a dream that is both good and bad, I would say just focus solely on the good parts of it. Say that that's your subconscious mind being impressed with those things, and then just run with it. I cannot answer accurately, so therefore I'm not going to even try to lie to you. I don't know if a bad dream means that's still going on. Like up here, you still got those bad stories impressed, or not. I can't say the same thing for the good dreams because I've had some terrible dreams. I've had dreams of like Katie cheating and all that kind of stuff, which, as far as I'm aware, have never come into fruition. So I've had bad dreams that meant nothing. And I've also had good dreams where I've been in like a fucking Mercedes and, driving down a beach like and rich as hell. And that still isn't the case right now. So the way that I look at it is just to use dreams like thoughts. If it's a bad dream, it's just the same as a bad thought. Just let it go. Continue focusing on your desire. If it's a good dream, enjoy it. Yeah, that dream meant my desires come in. Put a positive meaning for it, and then go forward. Alicia says, I didn't know how to post comments from my computer, so I have to use my phone to join the live. How strange. I'm not 100% sure what it's like for people viewing the live stream. For me, it's just a little chat bubble, or well, it's more of a rectangle, but a little chat thing on the side. And yeah, it just says chat, but I'm not 100% sure what it's like being a viewer of a live stream because I don't really join live streams actually. But why is that? Okay, that's fine, yeah. But yeah, so I did have something I was going to say as well. I have a few things that I want to sort of talk about, but I want to spread them out through like the little slow times when not many people are like commenting, because I want to try and make this live stream as like fluent and impactful as possible. Because the last few live streams I haven't actually posted to other people to watch because there've been so many big breaks in between. So the fact that we've got 7 people in here now is really positive. There could definitely be more because there's way more than that on the actual membership, but maybe people are just busy. Obviously it's a Sunday and stuff, so maybe they just want to chill. But I've got a few things that I want to say, but I'm going to save them for when there's big breaks. Alicia says, so this guy who is not my SB asked me to have coffee today at 2 p.m. He used to like me. I don't know if he still does. We haven't seen each other for over a year, but he just postponed to it later today. I wasn't very happy, but I get to join your live, so that's perfect. Well, everything works out in a perfect manner. See it as an impression. The only reason he postponed it is because you wanted to join this live. Once this live's over with, you can then go off and have your coffee date, and then you get the best of both worlds. So this is actually one thing that I do want to talk about as well, because I get this a lot with clients. I get this a lot in like YouTube videos and stuff like that. There's the term like silver linings, which is obviously meant to say, yes, this may be this awful situation, but hey, look at this positive that came out of it. People need to look for silver linings a lot more than they do. I know obviously when you want your person or you want your job or you want all of those things, it's very easy to look at the face value of this person postponed. That must be a negative. But if you can get into the habit of looking at silver linings, you'll see such a drastic difference in how your reality plays out. A silly example, my mate has recently just got a puppy, and this morning he messaged me. Basically, I can't remember what exactly he said, but essentially he'd fallen back to sleep before letting the puppy out or something, and it ended up making a mess in the kitchen. And he was like, oh yeah, I spent ages cleaning it up, and now I had to spray because it smelled really bad and blah blah blah, just basically saying like this, I made a cock up and this is the outcome of it. But then afterwards he went, but on the plus side, at least I haven't got any poop in my back garden. Obviously he was saying it as a joke, but it's actually very much true. It means that he now doesn't have to go out and clean his garden, and then he's not going to go out and step in it at some point with not realizing that he needed to clean it or something like that. Obviously very silly things. But the more that you can get into the habit of saying like, oh, hey, but look at this positive, the more that you'll start to create positives, because where your focus goes, energy flows. So if you're looking at positives, more positives will come. So that's what I reckon you should do with this. You get to see the live as well as seeing him afterwards, and it's a win-win. Michelle says, hi, whereabouts in the UK are you? I'm in the UK, West Mids. I am down south, just outside Oxfordshire. And I'm not too sure what I'm not sure what constitutes as West Mids, but I know that's like, I'm about here, give or take. You're like here, and yeah, about here to me. So quite far. JRC says, hey bro, I'm finally at a live. Hi everyone, hit the like button. Thank you very much for being here today, JRC. It means a lot that you were able to make this live stream, and as you always were with the other lives that I've done, advocating people to hit the like button. On the members only ones, it doesn't mean as much because it's only to people that have a link for it, but I still appreciate the enthusiasm. But yeah, so what was there's a thing I'm going to answer before I go into that. So Toga Claw says, not currently manifesting any relationship, but working on self-concept around women and relationships. I'm on a strict mental diet currently where I've deleted stuff such as social medias. In all honesty, I think if you're working on self-concept, social media deletion is an absolute big thing, because there's so much crap on social media that just creates insecurity and breeds hatred, and it just makes people just feel so much worse, depending on how you look at it. For example, my Instagram was filled with reels and gym guys. Now, obviously, I could look at those gym guys and say, "Oh, I'll never be that big. Look how skinny I am." But I use it as motivation to say, "Hey, if I keep doing what I'm doing, one day I will be that big." So you can obviously use it as motivation. But I know that there's a lot of people that would see that stuff and think, "Oh, I'll never be him," and then put themselves down. So um, I do think that deleting social media is a very good aspect when trying to work on yourself and when trying to improve yourself because of that. But also, it gives you more time to actually make those changes, and it can be really positive for you overall because, yeah, social media is just a time bin, basically. And then you also say, do you recommend not listening to heartbreak songs? I don't pay attention to the lyrics and mostly pay attention to the tune. I think it depends on how you take it. For example, I can't listen to I can't remember which album it is, but one of the XXX Tentacion albums because it's all just depressing heartbreak songs. And I find that if I listen to it, I start going into this like weird period where I just feel very shitty. And I notice that I'll get a bit more snappy or I'll feel sad or I'll kind of just I'll let it affect me. So I can't listen to it because I know that it will have negative effects on my relationship, essentially. So I personally do try to avoid anything that is a victimizing song, like a self-victimizing song, because it just I do accidentally, unintentionally, of course, but I do accidentally take meaning from it. So if I'm not going to say yes, you should cut it out because you say that you mostly listen to the tune, but I definitely do think that listening to empowering songs is a lot more beneficial. While I wait for more people to come in, I'm just going to do a little sort of like speech thing, trying to fill up the time. But I've recently, I say recently, about a month and a half ago, added a service where I can assist you in your affirmations. Of course, you're the operant power of your reality. But one thing is what you assume to be true will become true. So if you assume that I can help you in your manifestation, I will help you in your manifestation. And I actually do have a service for that lately that has been doing exceptionally well for people. I've been posting a few success stories on my Instagram lately. So I think there's one of those little highlight bubble things where you can check them out. But I've been helping people pass their exams, getting their specific people back, and just so many amazing things just by assisting them on their affirmation. And the way that I do on their manifestation, and the way that I do such is I will write a script for them at some point of the day, to which I'll send them a photo of, and I will affirm for them sporadically throughout the day. And it's been making a massive difference for people. So I really highly recommend you check that out because it's an exceptionally cheap service for what it offers. So I highly recommend you go check that out once you've watched this live or while watching it. But that's the first sort of like speech thing that I want to say. Brooke says, that's something I actually wanted to bring up too. Funny how that came up. Is that in relation to the sort of sad songs thing, or is there a different question that you were wanting to discuss? Katie says, hi, Matthew. Good morning here. Howdy, howdy, Katie. Glad to have you here. Katie Johnson, by the way, not my Katie. But glad to have you here. It's been a long time since I've seen you, I think. I can't remember if you were in one of the more recent members only live streams. Karen says, I enjoyed your assistance service. I'm booking more days this week. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And of course, I would be more than happy to assist you on it even further. Because I mean, the fact that I already know your situation makes it even easier because I can just, bang out. I know what I'm focusing on. So, more the merrier kind of thing. I look forward to helping you further. Brooke says, I identify my life so much with lyrics and music. It's one of the reasons why I mostly listen to EDM because there's not much lyrics associated. Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I try now. I know it's going to sound really goofy, but I actually mostly now listen to a person called Daddy Fat Snaps. And he does mostly music based on anime and games and shows and stuff like that. Because most of the characters that he does are characters that are like quite powerful and like, like I'm the best, strongest person in this anime. So when he's talking, he's obviously talking about his power and how he's limitless and stuff like that. So there's that aspect makes me feel quite makes me feel powerful when I'm listening to it. And it's actually the music that's been playing in a lot of my stories when I'm doing like the workout stuff on Instagram. But also on top of that, I just like the tune of it. And that way I'm getting like that kind of empowered feeling while enjoying the music I'm listening into, instead of trying to force myself to listen to like happy-go-lucky music that I don't actually enjoy that much, just for the purposes of making it work for me. But I'm not sure who EDM is. So you might have to explain them to me. But Tiger Claws also apparently loves them, according to his comment. So, that's awesome. I'm glad that there's what's the word that I'm looking for here? Similarity, not similarities. I can't remember the word that I'm looking for, but I'm glad that people in the live are sharing interests. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. Alicia says, how long is the live usually? So the aim for the live is to be an hour long. but it depends on comments. If obviously it dies out and I can't, and there's not much comments, then I'll obviously end it off earlier. But I do it for as long as I can, which is usually an hour, because by then my voice is given out, because usually I've done band or I have other stuff to do. Sorry, excuse me. So we still got about 40 minutes left of this live stream today. And the fact that there's the most amount of people in a members only live stream than there's ever been gives me confidence that it's going to be quite conversative, quite a talky live stream. um, Brooke says, Tag Clausier, a manifestation for me that I'm always meeting people with the same interests as I have. Interests, that's the word that I was looking for. I'm an idiot. But there you go. There's a little manifestation success right there in front of you. Karen says, there's an event I want to attend at the end of this month with SP. I'm also affirming for that we are already back together. Oh, plus we're already back together. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I know in a lot of my videos, I talk about not going for the middle and to go for the end result. And I think this is creating a little misconception that I think this is a perfect way for me to clear up. But when I say go for the end result, I mean make that the dominant focus. That doesn't mean you can't go for things in the middle as well. For example, I would really like to go to, let's say, for example, Germany this year. I really want to go to Germany. Now, I could either affirm that I go to Germany, or I could affirm something like I have more than enough money to pay for Germany. Now, one is the end result, going to Germany. The other one is the middle, having enough money to go to Germany. Now, the main focus would be obviously Germany, because that's the end result. But there's nothing wrong with me saying that I have more than enough money to actually go there, because then that brings in money and then I can go there if I wanted to, or I could pay for other things if I wanted to. Same thing for like texts, for example. Your end result is being together, but that doesn't mean that you can't manifest having a lovely text from your specific person. I just advise not to make it the main focus. If that's the only thing you're focusing on, then I feel like you're leaving a lot of manifestation power on the table. But if it's just like a side note, we're in a loving relationship, everything's amazing, and they text me lovingly, and we're in loving communication, I think that's absolutely fine. And same thing for this thing here. You want to be back together, but you also want to go to this event with them. Well, there's nothing to say that you can't do both. You've got the end result, and you've got something that you desire. So go for both. So hopefully that clears up any confusion. If anybody in this live stream has had some, or anyone watching this posting, when I say go for the end result, I mean as the main focus, but you absolutely can have some of the middle included. And a lot of the affirmations that I'll do, as some of the people in the assistance program would back that up, I do things like person and person are in consistent loving communication. That doesn't necessarily mean they're in a relationship, but loving communication is still a nice benefit to have. So, take that as you will. Tiger Claw says, sorry for so many questions, Matt, but do you have any ways to connect with our higher self or receive answers from our subconscious? It's absolutely fine, the questions. That's obviously what I'm here for today, to answer your questions on the live stream. So higher self. I am like, okay, so I do believe that we have a higher self, but I do believe that our higher self is pretty much the version of us that is not connected to this 3D reality. So what we want, excluding our ego. And I find that the best way to connect your higher self is when you can kind of disconnect yourself from the 3D reality in front of you. Breath work, meditation, those kind of things are generally, in my opinion, the best ways to do so, because your ego is obviously attached to this 3D reality. And that's what's making those, if I get this expensive car, I'll look good to women. Or if I go out wearing this outfit, I'll look good to other people. Or if I don't know, if I start fighting people, I'm going to be scared, and then people are going to be scared of me, and then I won't get picked on, or something stupid like that. Your ego is the side that looks at this 3D reality and says, if I get this, then this will happen. Your higher self, in my opinion, is the version of you that says, this is what I desire. This is who I truly wish to be. This is what I truly wish to have. And I find it's better, or the best place to get kind of connected to that is when your ego hasn't got anything at this external to look into. So I recommend sort of meditation, breath work, those kinds of things, and then sitting with yourself and saying, what do I actually truly want? Because for me, I'll give you a little bit of an example. What do I actually truly want? I want to help people because I think it is like, it's a passion of mine. I really enjoy what I do, not only just in this, but with the self-improvement stuff and people in my life. I'm constantly lending out money to my family if they need it and such things like that, because I like helping people. But if I really sit with myself and ask, what do I want to do? My honest higher self answer would be something music related. I have always loved music. From when I was a kid, I used to listen, I knew every Eminem song off by heart at the age of like 8, which obviously probably is not a good thing considering the kind of music that you made back then. But I did that. I used to write songs. I used to write poems. I used to try in my secondary school. I used to have people stop me and ask me to do some kind of music related thing because I'd been known for it due to the amount that I did it. Obviously, now I'm in a band and stuff. So my higher self has always been in tune with music. And therefore, I can sit there and say that if I was to die tomorrow, but I had done a live show, I would be happy dying tomorrow. And that's kind of where I think your higher self comes in, is to ask yourself, what needs to happen in my life for me to actually be okay with not waking up tomorrow? Which I know obviously sounds a bit morbid, but the likelihood of that happening is very low. But this is just to get you to really sort of sit and think, what would I be missing out on? What's that one thing that if I was to not do and I didn't wake up tomorrow, I feel like I wouldn't have lived life to the fullest? And that can be a materialistic thing. Like if that's drag racing a Lamborghini, just because it's a Lamborghini doesn't make it a not a higher self desire. It's what you would want to do before you go. That's where I think the higher self kind of comes in. And your question of like receive answers from the subconscious mind. Now, I've heard a lot of people speak about receiving answers from the subconscious mind. And I'll be real, it's never been something that I've particularly done from the perspective of like being given the signs as like, this is what I should do. I think receiving answers, the way that I perceive it, and of course, there's probably going to be other coaches out there that give different opinions. So if you want more than what I'm about to give, you're welcome to go and find another coach that would give you more of an answer on it. But the way that I see it is receiving an answer from the subconscious mind is very similar to connecting to your higher self. So if I have a problem and I need it answered, I'll sit with myself in a quiet state, meditate, breath work, relax. How am I getting ads in the middle of a live? Oh, are they still doing it? It didn't even give me an option that time. Usually it gives me an option. I turn them off. Like it pops up here and it says like ads starting in 5 seconds and then I turn them off. So I do apologize, but I'm not sure how to turn them off midway into the live. I'll try and talk while I figured this out. But yeah, so I will sit there with my, oh, here we go. This should turn them off. Not sure why that was on. That's supposed to be auto turned off. That should have turned them off. Apologies that there was ads. Hopefully you guys didn't miss anything too important. Hopefully it wasn't a long ad. I'm not sure how long the ads are. I have nothing to do with the ads and putting them on the videos, as in like what ads and when they come up and how long they are. So apologies. But yeah, so whenever I'm trying to find like get an answer for something, I'll sit with myself in a quiet space. Up here, I'll be quiet. I'll do breath work. I'll meditate, get really quiet, and then I'll kind of sit there, usually with a pen and paper, and I'll just write out answers. So if I'm having a struggle with like, money, for example, I'll do a little meditation, do a little breath work, and I'll just sit there with a pen and paper and think, okay, my situation is that I need to make £5,000 within the next 30 days. And then I'll sit there and think, okay, what can I do? And then I'll just have answers fly out because I've cleared my mind and I've allowed myself to think. That I think is the best way, or is my best way of connecting to the subconscious mind and my higher self. But I'm not sure if there's like another ritualistic kind of thing that other coaches talk about. So obviously, hopefully that helps your question though. I need to find where I was because I was pissing around trying to turn off the ad thing. Katie Johnson says, without going into detail for their privacy, you are correct. You can manifest healthy change in others. Absolutely. You can manifest pretty much anything. I did a video today that's gone on Instagram and TikTok. I did a little bit of a piss take where I said, you can't manifest everything. And then just kind of waited for a second and then said that I was joking. But in that, I pretty much do say the same thing, that yes, you can manifest anything. If you can think it, you can conceptualize it, you can actualize it. So yeah, you're right. Brooke says, and EDM is electronic dance music like techno, dubstep, drum, and bass. Oh, I see. Not really my kind of thing, but I could definitely see why that would not have lyrics. Michelle says, being double-minded, what is your best advice to stop this? Along with mental diet and discipline, do you believe it's faith? So it depends on why you're being double-minded, I find. I think everyone obviously has their different reasons. Like one person might be like, I'm not sure if I want this because I don't know, what if it takes me away from being able to meet my perfect person later down the line? And then some people are like, I'm not sure if I want this because they treated me so badly in the past, for example. So I think taking a look into why you're double-minded would be the first step. Get a clear understanding of what the double-mindedness is because of, and then going forward, you can go, okay, well, I think that I don't deserve this kind of behavior. So going forward, I'll make sure that if we're to get in contact again, or if we're to get in a relationship again, I'll set that boundary. I'll assume the best version of him. That's what I'll do about it. And then you can stay true to that story, because obviously we know that double-mindedness doesn't actually help you to any degree. So understanding why, and then using that why to navigate how you're going to go forward better will help you with that double-mindedness. But the other factor is to simply make yourself one-track minded. So when a double side of the double-mindedness comes up that doesn't benefit you, catch it and go, what am I even thinking about? Why am I even thinking about that? It completely is unnecessary. It doesn't serve me. So instead, I'm going to think this new thing. And then you consciously think said new thing. If you can get into a habit of just rinse and repeating that, there you go. You've pretty much overcome double-mindedness in that moment. And then obviously, like I say, rinse and repeat, do it each time, you'll benefit yourself. And then what was yours? So what is your best advice to stop this? Along with mental diet and discipline, do you believe it's faith? So, oh, is that in relation to double-mindedness? Okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I pretty much, so you're saying with mental diet and discipline, that's how you overcome it. And then do I believe faith as well? I see. So I pretty much just repeated what you said, but in more words. Apologies. I think you need the thing with faith is it's a very interesting subject when it comes to manifestation. I suppose you need faith enough to persist in it. If you didn't have faith in it, you wouldn't continue to do it. So obviously, yes, there would need to be that kind of faith as well. But as long as you're being disciplined and having the good mental diet, it doesn't matter if you do or don't have faith in the manifestation itself, because you're still going to be feeding that correct story to your subconscious mind, therefore creating the correct outcome. So yeah, to deal with double-mindedness, be disciplined, have that strong mental diet. Whenever something of the double-mindedness that doesn't benefit you comes up, catch it and say, what am I even thinking about? And then take it down the new path and you'll be all good. Tiger Claus says, who's your favorite artist? That's to Brooke about the EDM stuff. Katie Johnson says, great question to Michelle. Hopefully that answered it for you as well, Katie. Alicia says, oh no, why is there ads? Apologies, that should be sorted now. Brooke said to Tucker Claus, that's a really hard question. Depends on the sub genre, dubstep, Sullivan King, and subtronics, techno. I hate models and a bunch of nines. Okay. And then it says, what are yours? JLC says, how am I getting ads in the middle of a live? Were there not ads in the live streams before then? Like, is this a new thing? Because I never had anyone sort of mention ads when I used to do the live streams before. It's only been like this time. So is that just something that they've just decided to just bang on there? And I'm going to have to like turn off outside of the live stream? Because yeah, I never remember anyone ever mentioning ads when I used to do the live streams way back when. But that should be resolved now. So hopefully it is. Brooke says, I got an ad as well. Apologies. Tiger Claus says, hey there, massive Avicii fan bear. Again, another EDM group thing, place, people. I don't know. JRC says, no, hopefully you get paid for them. To be honest, with the amount of people in the live stream, if I was to be paid for the live for the ad, it'll probably be about 10p. So it's really not a problem. I'd rather just make it a better viewing experience for you guys than earn the money from it. You guys are already paying for the membership anyway. I don't need additional money from the ads. That's why I'm surprised that they're even on. Brooke says that the M Avicii will always be an icon in the EDM world. Alicia says, what's your Instagram? So my business Instagram is just simply Mind Over This Matrix. I don't have a personal Instagram anymore. I mean, I do still have it. It's still there, but I don't use it anymore. I've decided to cut myself out of personal Instagram. But yeah, the business one or the channel one is Mind Over This Matrix, just all spaces. Brooke says, I had a question for you, Matt. Have you read the book The Power of Now? I can't say I have. I believe I've heard of it, but I can't say that I have read it. One thing that I mentioned this in, I think, the last week's live stream, is that once you kind of have a general understanding of the topic, I don't really read much more. Unless it's actually genuinely bringing something new to the situation, I don't feel the point in over reading multiple books. I'd rather read the same book multiple times than to read multiple books once. So it's like, for example, obviously at the moment I'm going through the Neville Goddard books to do a little bit of a side project for you guys, which will come out miles in the future because it's a very long side project. But I've read that, or I'm reading that. I've read The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. I've read the Florence Scovel Shinn books, all of them. And one other one that I can't remember, and it's annoying me now. I can't remember what it is, another one. But they all basically say this general same thing. So now that I know all that kind of stuff, I don't really branch out into more books. I'll just read those ones again if I ever need to sort of top myself up on the knowledge. Same thing with finances books. Most finance books say the same thing. I've read the Rich Dad Poor Dad ones. I've read the Richest Man in Babylon ones. like the 4-hour work week and just a bunch of those kind of things that I know generally what I need to know. And most of the other books that I would pick up would just sort of say the same thing. So that's pretty much the reason why I haven't read that book, despite hearing about it, is because I feel like I've already got what I need at the moment. And if a book was to be presented with something actually genuinely new, then I'll pick it up and read it. But I mean, I'm assuming you're either going to recommend it or ask me about my opinion of it. If you're going to recommend it, by all means, let me know what's good about it. I might pick it up. Tiger Claws says to Brooke, Armin van Buren is goated too. Have you heard of him? It's about the EDM stuff. Alicia says, what do you think of instant manifestation? I think instant manifestation is absolutely possible. I mean, there's no reason why it wouldn't be possible. Your subconscious mind doesn't have any concept of time. Therefore, it absolutely could be possible that something just happens like that. The thing that I do say is not to expect it purely under the basis of when people let me rephrase that. Not to expect it if it's going to have a negative impact on you if it doesn't work. Because what a lot of people do is they will expect a manifestation, and then when it doesn't happen, or like they'll expect it by a certain time or something, and then when it doesn't happen, it completely blows up their whole concept of manifestation. It ruins their day, it ruins their mood, it ruins their week, they spiral. That's only hurting you more. So what I sort of generally will say is, yeah, if you can expect it without being outcome dependent, by all means do so. I expect to receive new clients every single day. I expect to receive more subscribers every single day. I expect to have a good, healthy, like family dynamic every single day, because that's what I manifest. That's what I've been focusing on creating. But if it doesn't happen, like in some of my sort of more recent videos, I've given the example, if I don't get that client, I don't care. I just say, you know what, it's cool. I'll get one later. I'll get one tomorrow, or it's fine. I'll make 4 tomorrow to make up for it. If you can be like that, by all means, expect instant manifestations. If you can't be like that and you become sort of contained on it, I would advise just focusing more on just living in the end than actually trying to make it instant. But yes, I do 100% believe that manifestations can be instant. I've had them. Most of you probably would have had something, even if it was small, because the subconscious mind doesn't have the concept of time. It requires on your impression, and then it gets to work. So if you can impress the subconscious mind, there's no reason why something couldn't happen instantly. Katie says, ads are new for me in live. Okay, yeah, so it must have just been something that they've just added. I'll have to take note of that next week, make sure that it's not selected on, because I didn't change any settings, so I don't know why they were fine before, but they're not now. Jesse says, what is your thoughts on something going wrong? Let's say mechanically when your thoughts haven't even gone there. Just an example. When you say mechanically, do you mean as in like physically mechanically, like a mechanic, or do you mean like mechanically as in like the 3D? If you could answer that, just so I don't waffle on about something that wasn't actually relevant to what you were asking. Brooke says, because I don't know if you mean by mechanically, you're talking about like, oh, I didn't think my car was going to break down, but it did. That's what I mean, sort of thing. Brooke says, I'm trying to connect his teaching to manifestation. If you're not in the now instead of stuck in the past or future, that causes our pain. But manifestation is like giving hope and keep you in pain. I don't think so. I'll have to disagree with that last statement. I don't think at all manifestation is keeping you in pain. Yes, I think it's giving you hope, but I definitely don't think it's keeping you in pain. It's supposed to be you residing within the outcome already being in fruition. And I actually do think it goes in conjunction. I haven't read his book, so I don't know exactly what he means by now, sort of thing. But the way that I see it is manifestation, or the way that I live my life through manifestation, is I absolutely live my life to the fullest. I'll enjoy it when I'm with my friends. I'll pay attention to the clients that I'm working with. I'll play games with Katie. I'll be there with my daughter. I'll be in the present moment. But when my mind isn't used on something, or when I have some sort of time, if I set aside for my schedule, I'll do my affirmations. I'll do my manifestation work. And remember, the work that you're doing is supposed to be because your desire is here now. So the whole process that I do with my manifestation and what I try to teach all you guys is to be in the present moment. The only difference is you're bringing your future to the present moment. You're essentially selecting it and bringing it back with you to this present moment. So, like I said, I haven't read his book, so I can't exactly make accurate depictions of what he's saying and how it works. But if you're living your life to the absolute fullest in the present moment, and when you're doing your manifestation work, bringing that future to the present moment, then you are still in this present moment. You're still in the now moment. You're just operating a different state of mind, kind of like a child when he's, playing with his pretend car, or when a little kid wants to dress up as a princess or something. They're still in the present moment. They're just a princess in that present moment. And I think that it only keeps you in pain if you're looking at the elements that cause the pain. If you have your desire, in theory, there should be no pain. Therefore, when trying to enact the end result of having your desire, there should be no pain there too. Sorry, I heard a strange sound. I thought it was maybe one of the cats or something. um, Brooke says, I want to find another book associated with subconscious and understanding the mind better. What books do you suggest that are best for that? So, manifestation wise, if you haven't already, I would recommend The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's a good book. It's definitely very good for explaining sort of subconscious mind stuff. You could argue that there's a few limiting beliefs in there, and I would agree that I do think there are a few limiting beliefs. And even in fact, a lot of the things that are limiting beliefs in that book, I have overcome myself. So I can sort of sit there and say, those elements don't concern yourself with. But I do generally think it's a very good book for understanding the subconscious mind. However, you also say, and understanding the mind better. I would actually recommend, and I did a little short on this the other day on Instagram, a book called Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Now, it doesn't necessarily talk about the mind, as in like the inner workings, too much, but it's definitely a very great book for getting you to actually step past the barriers that your mind provides you. Doesn't necessarily give you like the inner workings, but it shows you, if this does this, this is how you overcome it. And it's an exceptionally great book for building discipline and overcoming challenges. And I would really recommend those two. Danielle says, hi, Matt. Hope you've had a good day. I have had quite a good day. Thank you, actually. I hope you've had a good day as well. I have a question. How is it that I can manifest things doing various techniques, but other times I cannot? I didn't do anything different, so I'm confused. Manifestation is the process of residing within the space of having your desire already until it comes into fruition. Now, if you're finding that some techniques work sometimes and some techniques don't work other times, the one variable that I often ask people to ask themselves is, how attached were you to the outcome? Because there's no reason why something should work for one thing and not for another. The only variable to be considered is your mindset regarding it. For example, I think relationships are the piss easiest thing to manifest. For me, I can manifest love and messages from Katie immediately. Obviously, our relationship was rekindled and is better than ever. I've had people chasing me consistently throughout my time since sort of learning about manifestation, putting it into practice. So I find relationship related things and specific person related things, even all the way down to like clients and friends and family, I've managed to do exceptionally well. Money, however, has always been a bit of a kryptonite for me. Only recently have I been really starting to actually make really good headway with my financial sort of mindset, and as a result, money. I found that I'd have to constantly be on top of my affirmations. Otherwise, I didn't really make good money. If I let my mind just run with it, I fucked up basically. And then I got to a point where I had to do kind of consistent affirmations to be able to make good money. And now I'm only kind of really just about getting at the point where I can actually just have like an amazing money mindset without having to be conscious with it. So for money, for me, has always been a struggle. So I am aware that for me, just doing various techniques may not be enough for money, because I know that I need to stay on top of my mental diet. I know I need to stay detached from the outcome and those kinds of things. But with a specific person, I know those techniques will work piss easy. So the variable that I would recommend you ask yourself is, how attached to the outcome were you, and how consistent were you with residing within the end space using those techniques, with the failures compared to the successes? If you can ask yourself that, you'll probably come up with a fairly decent answer as to why some things have worked and some things haven't. Katie Johnson says, I agree with Brooke. It, for me, is a book that taught me how to stay in a meditative state daily and reduce anxiety. That's good. I mean, that is definitely a book I would recommend, because, I mean, if we just take manifestation out of the equation for a moment, we are a very, very anxious society now. Over the past sort of 10, 15, 20 years ish, we've become quite a downgraded version of ourselves, societal wise. We've become quite a weak society. And I think anything that can help you be more calm, clear headed, reduce that anxiety on a day to day basis will be an exceptionally good thing for you moving forward. Because with everybody else being constantly in a state of anxiety, but you're able to stay calm and collected, you're a league above the rest. If you've got, like, just as a silly example, 10 people going for an interview and 9 of them are panicking, but one person is like, you know what, I got this. Even if it doesn't go well, it's all good. That one person is going to stand out. Same thing for like that you hear all the time when sort of like people are at clubs and they're trying to talk to people. You've got all of these guys going up to women talking and they're all nervous, and you can see that they're nervous and it comes off. But that one guy that just shows up confidently, detached from how it shows up, sorry, how it goes, detached from how it goes, they're generally the one that stands out. So I think that if you can find something that generally helps you build a better sort of internal state, reduce the anxiety, help you go through your daily basis in a more meditative, calm state, you win. You win manifestation and non-manifestation wise. Tiger Claw says, Matt, I definitely feel like I know my worth in relation to love, but I did have a bad mindset around attracting girls or getting a girlfriend. What would be the best affirmation to counter that? I used to watch a lot of red pill, black pill content. Don't know if you've ever heard of that. So that did mess up my mindset and belief system. Yeah, I've heard of both red pill and black pill. Black pill, I think, is a complete bin of a society in the nicest way that I can say that. They're just victims. That's all it is. They're just self-victimizing people. I think red pill is obviously less of that, but obviously they have their own problems, just the same as any community group would do. Um, but I definitely think that both of those could fuck up your mindset if you're not careful with how you're consuming that content. Same with anything. Same with anything. I know manifestation, very similar to one of the comments earlier. Let me just find it. So very similar to what Brooke says. Manifestation keeps you in pain. Depending on how you accept the content you're provided, will obviously make a difference for your mindset. So, but one thing I will say, because I think your question doesn't really give me the right things to be able to give you a good answer, is you say you have a bad mindset around attracting girls and getting a girlfriend. What is it that makes it a bad mindset? What specifically is it that you think that women won't go for people like you? Is it that you think that women only want money? Is it that you think that relationships just don't last now? Like, what is your mindset that makes it so that attracting women or getting a girlfriend is difficult? And then we can work um more in alignment with it. I need to find where I was. Why can't I find it? Oh yeah, there. So John Wee says, "Is this supposed to be a members only live?" Katie says yes, and then John says, "Interesting. Thank you, Katie. Strange. I got alerted, then clicked on this video. Not a member. Call to tune in though." Huh? How has that happened? Let me just double check that this is. I don't like YouTube. I can't stand it. Details. So I'm just checking the live stream. Unlisted. Yes, it's put as unlisted. How have you been? How have you been notified? Because unlisted basically means that you shouldn't have access to it unless you've been provided a link. So I have no idea how you have. I hate YouTube. I can't stand YouTube. It's just so fucking annoying. But I suppose we'll move on. I suppose it's been good for the engagement at least. But yeah, I'm not sure why it's done that, because unlisted is supposed to be that you can only get an email from it for well, not only an email. If you have the link for it, then you can gain access. And I only send out the link via an email. So it's very strange. Brooke says, I'll definitely look into those two books. I don't know why it's such a challenge for me to bring my manifestation to the present moment when I don't have it, like still no contact with affirmation, with SP, because you're just looking at it. I know it sounds stupid, and I always hate it when I have to give that kind of answer, because it sounds so, well, yeah, obviously, but what do I do? But it's because you're looking at it. If you can look at your phone and notice you don't have a text, but sit there and say, he's probably busy, he'll message me later, that's just better than looking at the situation and using it negatively, if that makes sense. Too many people will go through their day doing the techniques, but when they're not doing the techniques, they'll look at the 3D and say, well, why is it not here? Or, oh, see, still no message, or those kinds of things. And that's only causing problems for your manifestation process, because obviously it's keeping you aligned with that old story. But if you can simply just state, this is my desire. Anytime I notice that I'm not thinking in accordance to that desire when it naturally comes to mind, I'm going to think from the perspective that I would if I did have said desire. If you can do that, that's bringing your desire to the present moment. The example that I gave is one of them. I check my phone, still no message. The old me would say, oh, this means that I don't have him. The new me, the version of me who has my desire, would see this and go, okay, he's probably just busy. He'll message me later. If I go home and my specific person's not there, instead of saying, oh, that's because I'm single and I live alone, I'll say, oh, you might just be at work, it'll be back later. If you can just make those small little tweaks, it makes such a difference to your process in the long run. It helps you bring it to this present moment. It helps you see things from the present perspective. Karen says, how do you talk with people that is not into manifestation? I might need a little bit more context on that. If you mean in terms of your goals, Oh, sorry, I could hear the baby. If you're talking about like in terms of like what you're actually trying to manifest, I just say that this is what I'm working towards. If you're like, oh yeah, like I'm working towards manifesting a relationship with this person, instead of saying manifesting, just saying, I'm becoming the best version of myself so that I can have a good relationship with this person, as an example. If you mean in terms of like someone's talking about your person and you're trying to avoid talking to them because they're not into manifestation and they wouldn't understand, the way that I see it is you don't owe anybody anything. So you can simply just say, look, I don't want to talk about this, and then don't talk about it. And you're free to do so, because why should you have to answer something that doesn't benefit you? There's no reason why you should. If you could give me a little bit more context on what specifically you're asking, I can give you more of an in-depth answer. But I just thought I'd give those two short ones for now. Brooke says, I'm now in a mindset of this isn't working anymore. This is just causing me more pain and mental distress. Uh going from I got this to this is hopeless, hoping this can bring some relief. I think that happens to everyone on their journey. Like, we're human. We are going to look at things and say, oh, this is still not right for me. This is still not good for me. It's just what you do with that information that truly matters. If you let it affect your state, then yeah, of course, you're going to feel worse and everything's going to go worse. But if you can sit there and say, okay, you know what? It's not there right now, but I choose to focus on something else. I choose to focus on the beneficial things. I choose to redirect that focus towards a more positive outcome. If you can do those things, then you're going to be doing all right going forward. You're going to be aiding yourself in your manifestation process. And if you can continue to do that, your subconscious mind will eventually take it in, because your subconscious mind just goes off of what you're claiming to be true, not what is actually true. So if you can do that, you're all good. And in the long run, you're going to make a difference. But I definitely would say keep an eye on yourself as well. Please don't throw yourself away for the purposes of manifesting someone. I have someone who isn't a client, but they kind of pop up asking the odd question here and there. And I generally respond because, I'm here to help people. And for the longest time, they've just been a victim to themselves, really. And it just doesn't help, because they're throwing themselves away and it's making their process work and it's making everything worse. And it's just a pain in the ass basically for them. It's making their journey worse. Recently, they started actually empowering themselves. And while they're still working on it, it's made a massive difference just to how they email me alone. Like that, the energy that's coming through the emails is so much better. And obviously over time, it's going to make it so much better for them as well. But that's what I'd recommend for you. Just keep an eye on yourself. Don't let it affect you too much. Do your best. Danielle says, thank you for your response. That actually made sense. I sometimes don't say my affirmations with feelings, so I guess I'm not attached to the outcome. Okay. Not saying, so I think it's positive if you think you're not attached to the outcome. I just want to clear something up, just to be clear. Not saying your affirmations with feeling doesn't necessarily mean that you're detached from the outcome. It just means that you're not saying them with feeling. But if you think you're not attached to the outcome, then that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to make that sort of little distinction. John Weiss says, I am enjoying the lives. I miss watching the lives. I don't know how I am notified. It's meant to be. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, YouTube put ads on my thing, and now it's letting unlisted people join in one form or another, which I'm not sure. So for all the people that are on the gold membership, I do apologize, because obviously the whole purpose of this is meant to be, gold members gain access only. So everyone that's on the gold membership, if you could drop me an email after this or now or whenever, I will send you a free thing of your choice. I'll give you a couple of options and you can decide, just as like a little apology, that people that haven't paid for the membership have still gained access, because obviously that's the whole purpose of it. But on the plus side, silver linings, like I spoke about today, it has made the engagement a little bit higher today. So we've got some good questions and it's been quite a fluent live stream, but that is obviously not how it's meant to go. So I do apologize for gold members. I will look into this and rectify it for next week, for the next live. And to make up for it, I can send you a free thing as an apology. Alexandra says, I'm not a member too. Thankful to be here, though. I mean, I am glad there are definitely people in here. I'm not a god member, but it's a pain in the ass. Not a pain in the ass that you're here. That's absolutely fine. It's more just a case of why YouTube has just decided to do this, essentially. Like, whatever. It is what it is. I'm glad we're all here. I'm glad we've had good conversations. I just feel bad for the people that are gold members that have kind of been stiffed a little bit here. Tiger Claw says, I definitely know that I would be an amazing boyfriend and I have a great relationship when I get into one. So I know I'm worthy of love. It's just the attracting a girlfriend that's a problem for me. Okay, so I can see where you're coming from on that, but it doesn't really necessarily answer why attracting a girlfriend has been a problem for you thus far. We need to sort of look into your mindset on that regard. Katie Johnson says, personal belief question. I would have never imagined that our belief system would be understood and accepted between my person and I. Have you noticed in your own path that you are attracted to people that believed or at least accepted your beliefs, like friends, etc.? Well, yeah, I think obviously generally as humans we are drawn to people that are similar to us. You know, it's they do say opposite attracts and opposites attract, and I do think that that is true to a degree. But I think if you spend too much time around people that have opposite belief systems to you, then over time it's just going to create like a deteriorating system. So yeah, me and my friend group, we're all borderline the exact same people, just with different aspirations in life, but our belief systems are very much the same. Katie and I didn't actually have a lot of the same beliefs at the beginning of our relationship, and I definitely think that is what created some of the friction. But as we learn to sort of grow together and sort of talk more instead of try to like talk together instead of talk at, I found that our beliefs are slowly molded to match each other, and obviously now things are generally very good between us. So yes, I do think that as humans, we do try we find comfort in similarities. We find comfort in people that are a likeness to us, and that will obviously be belief systems as well. Brooke says, "Yeah, you called that out. I also go into phases of being the victim, and I'm overcoming it. As long as you're overcoming it, that's the main thing. You know, we're human. I still have moments where I feel down. Even Katie and I had yesterday had a conversation where I basically sat there and said, "Look, I am aware that this thing is going on in my mind that I need to overcome. I'm gonna talk to you about it because I want you to know where I'm coming from." And we had a discussion. We had a really healthy discussion, not in our relationship. It was actually something external. I just wanted to have her opinion on it. We had a really good discussion about it. It was really helpful, but it's still something that I need to overcome. You know, just because I sit on the other side of the screen doesn't mean I'm some robot that doesn't understand what it's like to have triggers and limiting beliefs and stuff. I still have them myself that I'm working through. And that's why, if you'll look over the course of my channel, look at a video from the beginning of my channel to now, the way I speak, the content quality, who I am, how I present myself has all progressed, because no one is ever the best they could ever be. Even the best footballers, the best actresses, actors, the best musicians, they could still progress more. And that's the main thing. If you're overcoming it, you're on the right path. And the more that you do this, the better you'll get. Tiger Claw says, "Do you believe our subconscious mind pushes us? Do you believe our subconscious pushed us to know about law of assumption? Doesn't mean we are ready for awakening." I personally don't get too spiritual with this kind of stuff, like, oh, it's the right time and divine timing and stuff like that. I think that the way that manifestation works is once your subconscious mind is impressed with a story, it gets you there. Now, if you're on a path of learning more, if you're on a path of self discovery, if you're on a path of finding something new, any one of those things could, or even if you're just on a path of trying to get your specific person back, you know, that's how most of us get into this. Most of us get broken up with, and then we try to find how to get them. And this content comes up because, you know, we're looking for an answer for how to get them. Boom, law of assumption is the answer. It's a manifestation in and of itself. I think in those instances, uh, that's how the subconscious mind presents law of assumption content. But I personally don't associate or sort of subscribe to the idea of our subconscious mind kind of sits there and waits and goes, ah, now you're ready. Here's the law of assumption, because your subconscious mind doesn't really work like that. I know there are probably going to be other people out there that sort of say that there is, and everyone is entitled to their sort of versions of things. But I try to keep manifestation and spirituality as grounded as possible, because I find it works best with my logical mind that way. Therefore, having the best of my subconscious mind and my logical mind. Danielle says, "I think this is a members only live. I just signed in on my other YouTube account and can't see the live on it." I don't understand then. If you can't, uh, I'm not sure. I have no idea. I'm, like I said, silver linings. I'm happy because there's been good engagement. I just do apologize to the people that are members only. I just have no idea how or why YouTube has done what they have done. But YouTube is a pain in the ass. True story. Karen says, "What was the second book you mentioned?" Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Really good book. Really worth it. JRC says, "I apologize for any members I took the time away from." I don't think you have any reason to apologize, because it was my mistake, or mine/YouTube's mistake. But additionally, I think that having the non-members here has been good, because there's been a few questions and it's allowed the conversation to flow. I'm caught up on comments, which means no one has been missed to this point, which means none of the non-members being in here has been a detriment to the members. So I don't think that you have a reason to apologize, JRC. I think it's obviously as I have, it's my place to apologize. But hopefully I can rectify that with a few bit of free goodies for the people that are interested enough to drop me an email. Furthering that, actually, I do want to make one final point, and then I'm going to answer Brooke's question, and then I'm going to head off because my throat is so sore right now and is coming up to the hour mark. I want to make this membership as good as possible. If we're going to be honest, I'm here to help as many people as possible, and I want to make the membership impactful so that everyone can learn from it. But additionally to that, obviously, the more members that I have on the membership, the better it is for me financially as well. So I want to make this membership as impactful as possible. So please, could you guys let me know if there is any additional bonuses, qualities, contents, uh, benefits, gifts, anything that would entice you, for those of you that aren't members and for everyone watching this post, that would entice you to join the membership, because I want to give you as much as I possibly can. And the membership is a massive benefit to me as well. I very rarely talk about what the benefits are for me, because obviously this is here to help you with your manifestations. But yes, this is the business that pays my bills. This is what allows me to stay at home with my daughter and stuff like that. So of course, I want to make this as impactful as possible, so you guys will come to me as much as possible. But there is no exchange that is healthy without committed value. Therefore, I would not expect to just whack my prices up without there being the value to justify it. So if there is something that you guys want that isn't currently there, or if I was to start doing something additional that would tip you over, please let me know, because that way we can help each other. Just wanted to say that one final thing, and I'm going to answer these last 4 comments because I'm a sucker. I feel like I can't just leave people hanging. But Brooke says, so when making slight tweaks to perception from being single to being confident in a loving relationship, should we just go with the rest of my day and not continue on in thought? Like, oh, SP isn't home, he's just out and we'll be back later. When coming home from work, then move on with, for example, making dinner. Yes, that is exactly what I would recommend you do. Because yes, obviously, if you stay in that thought, beneficial, absolutely fine. But there's nothing to say you have to stay in that thought. Dominant state is a percentage, not a quantity. Even Neville Goddard himself mentions the idea of repetitively going back to that state is enough, not necessarily the time that you're in it. It's a dominancy in how you go about your day. So if you go in, oh, he'll be home later, put yourself in the end state, then go make dinner, absolutely fine. Just as fine as if you were to stay in that state, because it's still you in the state. You've left that thought in the positive state, therefore benefiting you. And that way, I find it's less stressful because you're not trying to force yourself to stay in the state. Alicia says, Matthew, can I manifest a doctor's appointment tomorrow for my braces? It's very hard to make an appointment, and I don't know if it's okay to ask for more sick days off from my boss. I mean, yeah, in theory, if you simply just reside within the space of already having that doctor's appointment, it came sooner than you expected. You're so happy to have had a doctor's appointment that was completely convenient for you. If you can reside within that space, there's nothing to say that it couldn't happen. John Wee says, you're doing great. Happy to join eventually at some point. Already in a lot of membership stuff in other groups. Yeah, that's fair enough. Mine's definitely the best there is, though. JRC says, as a non-gold member, I still think some people might like the science aspect. Maybe other people in here can say as well, as in like a video on it, maybe. That makes sense. I'll take that into consideration. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up for this live stream. Again, non-gold members, I do apologize for the mistake. I have no idea why it's happened. I'll have to look into it going forward. For all the non-gold members, you lucky ducks. But yeah, thank you very much for today, and I'll see all you lovely people in the next one. Bye-bye.